but definitely expect the unexpected. We kind of already had a bit of that here. We'll see what game one brings us as far as draft goes.
Yeah, I like the point too as well about even the Gambit matchup from 2 years ago. There was the time where it's like, hey, it can be close, you know, so you have to not get too far ahead of yourself. And I think especially yesterday, it was a very tough battle for Peace. So Cloud9 have a lot of footage to have looked at from that game and try and figure out what it is they want to target. I am not surprised to see Peace throwing a lot of bans at Cloud9. Last time we saw, that was kind of the blueprint that DFM laid down. And I do think there are aspects of that game plan that they can copy from DFM to try and upset C9.
Yeah, these blue side bans are very targeted here. Basically picking off some of the strongest, if not the strongest picks that the Cloud9 players have shown. We're taking out Perks as a LeBlanc, really off the table there for Fudge and Leona. Not just Vulcan's best support, I think most players' best support at this point. She's maybe the best support you can take, especially early on in a game. She's just so good, especially when Misfortune shows up every game.
Yeah, I think the low commitment that Leona has for engages enables you to be a little safer with it, and we've seen when people get forced onto a Moo and some of the ones that are more all in when they choose to pick a fight, they get into some trouble. The Lucian takeaway I do like. That was something that Violet looked quite good on yesterday. They spam picked it a lot. It went well sometimes it went poorly. I mean, them and T-Town were just scrapping it out every single lane phase. It felt like there were 2v2 kills, and it looks like Cloud9 is opting into that.
Yeah, we got Lisa in there to follow alongside it. Now Xin Zhao locked in there for Peace. Riot's also going to be put on board here for Tally. Definitely a champion that's in his wheelhouse. He is mostly about roaming and leaving his lane. Like, he was a top laner for a long time, and now he's been a mid laner for a long time, which is a bit weird, but his style typically has been to link up with Babip and then go help the other lanes. He's definitely a roaming kind of player historically as a mid laner, and Rise definitely fits the bill, even though yesterday he was mixing in things like Aatrox and lots of these more melee mids for a bit more aggressive 1v1s and 2v2s. So he has range for sure, but as far as, you know, comfy game one drafts go, this feels very much in the wheelhouse.
Especially with the Lilia ban that Cloud9 threw in, that was a very smart ban. Watching Babip's Lilia, it also is individually impressive, but like you're saying with some of these melee assassin type mid laners, it kind of enables them by splitting your damage profile up. So no surprise, he's now in the Xin Zhao. And of course the Nami lock in with the Lucian. Yep. Definitely a powerful duo, and we'll be able to contest that MF early on. A lot of support bans given that they have finished off their bot lane for the Cloud9 side, getting rid of some of the more engage-focused threats, because that is one of the ways you can beat that Nami Lucian lane is, you know, don't get traded on over and over again and sustained on. Just try and kill them 100-0.
Yep, Fudge also losing two champions there, both Camille and Jace getting taken off the table. Syndra locked in there for Perks. We're going to leave counterpick there for Fudge. It could, I suppose, be the Lucian, but that's pretty unlikely given what they've shown already, so this seems like a pretty straightforward first 4 picks out of Cloud9.
Yeah, no, I gotta say I'm a little surprised at the targeted Fudge bans with your mid locked in. You would usually see people ban out the areas that they are mismatched in the draft, so that's why you saw the support bans. But for Peace, they're actually just getting rid of the Gnar counters, it feels like.
Yep.
They don't want to get all in over and over. The Aurelia ban, the Camille ban, even the Jace ban, stronger lane matchup there. So kind of telegraphed that one. And C9, no, I guess that Peace predicted that C9 would take their mid laner blind, and so that's why they weren't worried about the Gnar takeaway. Nice little bit of preparation by them. Yeah, for sure. Last pick here, of course, is going to be Aldork support. And we'll settle on Rakan, it looks like here, to go alongside the MF. So not quite as, you know, great combinations with their ulti, but Rakan, always good. Not that great in lane, so the 2v2 could be a bit of a struggle, but we'll have to see how Aldork can do in the mid game as roaming, right? Because Rakan's engage is obviously so good. Yeah, and I think it's worth noting that this is a different look for Cloud9's bot lane in the sense that you were telling me before this that Vulcan has the highest, or I should say the lowest duo procs percent of all supports in play-ins, which is another way of saying he roams a lot. Yeah. So this is a different look when you have this taken. The Nami's going to be locked in lane. And, I mean, they're playing really aggressive because they also took the Wukong counter pick for the Gnar. You do have the ability to hop on it, but it is something that you're going to want to play around. It feels like there's a lot of lanes that are going to want attention right now. Yeah, to kind of further that point, you know, obviously if Vulcan's leaving lane a lot, understandably, Blabber's highest jungle proximity is to his support, right? He and Vulcan are constantly linked up in these games, kind of going down the rankings. Then Fudge is the next person he pays the most attention to, then Perks, and then understandably Svan is left right at the right in last place there, because so much of Cloud9's style seems to be defined by their pressure they put
in their top side and especially their top lane, so much so that even their support ends up leaving lane a lot. So this is a departure, certainly. Obviously, Lucian Nami is a known strong 2v2. I think if you're trying to have a stable yet aggressive early game and kind of overpower your opponents because you believe yourself to be the superior players, which I think for Cloud9 is a safe bet, at least coming into this matchup, then sure, why not start off with something like this?
Yeah, and I think on the flip side for Peace, they have a very scrappy team comp. We talked about the Rakan roams already, but Ryze and Xin have a good ability to get on the map and influence these lanes to try and protect the Gnar if there's ganks coming up there. And we were talking about Babip and Blabber being 1-2 in kills and assists at 15, which means they're extremely active junglers, and both of them are going to be going toe-to-toe. They're the matchup I have my eye on the most to try and determine how the early game is going to go. We saw Chachi win some lanes, lose some lanes, same with Violet like we covered earlier, but it felt like Babip and Tally were the 1-2 punch combination that allowed Peace to actually find that win yesterday. And so right now they have two good tools to influence this game.
Yeah, we'll see how they do though, because it is game 1 between Cloud9 and Peace. This is for all the proverbial group stage marbles, Mark Z. Win here, win 3 games, and you give yourself the final spot in the world's group stage.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a crazy story for Oceania, just like the entire year, not just this tournament, but with the kind of collapse of the OPL, a lot of the talent being subsumed by North America, to then bounce back and within a single year rebuild, be able to go to MSI, make it over UL, who had historically been one of the top teams, make it into the actual group stage, hand C9 a devastating loss when they needed it the least. They beat C9, and now while that was with Pentanet, Peace here also making similar noise, getting out over groups, winning a best of 5 in international play after having such a difficult year is already a huge win, and now it's just like, how much further can you push it? Can you actually go back against Cloud9 and ruin their day again?
When, you know, I think the common wisdom would say no, but there's a chance. And if there's one thing that's true of this region, they're going to battle.
Yeah, I mean, they're
really going to battle.
They are scrappers.
Yeah. That's definitely a feature, not a bug. Of the region, I'll tell you that much.
True.
In many walks of life, as Tally and Perks are going to line up here in the 1v1 nice and early. Definitely cool to see Perks back on Syndra. Again, something you can really get aggressive on. Great flash out of Sven, but Aladoric with arguably a better W to line it up, but now getting ignited. I'm starting to remember what this looks like. Sven, you're dead. That's first blood out of Violet.
Let's go. Peace is bot lane. Level 1.
Level 1.
Scrapping them out. And this is the thing with the new Lucian Nami lane, is it's a pretty cooldown dependent lane. You want Lucian to get some abilities to be able to spam them out. Nami has her heal, but she really wants her buff to be able to get that insane proc with the Lucian passive that was added. And at level 1, that's when they are most susceptible to all-ins. And that wasn't even clean. You know, like, they forced the flash, which was nice, but it wasn't like the W landed by the Rakan. And they still got the kill. So this is a disaster right now for C9's bot lane. They do have a slight summoner advantage, but you can just see how well they understand, like, we don't even need to be that clean. We can kind of ignore the Nami here. And this entire time, Violet does a good job trading autos on Sven while Sven was trying to walk forward and punish Aladoric. Hold on, not done yet.
Mid lane, 1v3, Aladoric with a fat roam there. Perks is going to die for second blood as Babip picks that one up.
God damn, their name might be Peace Pastry, but they woke up and chose violence.
You'll have to see. I mean, this is what we expected. Like, I think as far as, like, what a Peace's best chance in this matchup, but we saw this yesterday as well. Like, get aggressive in the early game. Like, you heard it from the Jets. Yes, their team fighting is good, but it's way easier to team fight when you're ahead.
Yeah, and I gotta say, we were talking about the Rakan roams. I didn't think they'd be coming in level 2 necessarily, but you just killed bot lane, and you instantly spread that pressure around to mid lane. That's also flash and TP down for Perks, so I would 100% expect a repeat gank at some point. And so C9 really have to focus on stabilizing their bot lane, get some wards out, make sure that you don't fall to a Babip gank in any of these lanes.
Oh, we're at it again. Aladoric just doesn't miss apparently, but now it's banging to turn it back around. Vulcan repays in kind with the bubble. Ignite is down. Last auto is good. Cloud9 going to get themselves on the board.
See, Sven throwing up the surrender flag. The Ram is okay. C9 showing. We still got some fight in us. Don't panic quite yet. This is the thing that we saw yesterday a lot with Peace's bot lane was you just, even if they get the first kill, you know, who knows what's going to happen from there. T-Time and them were trading blows back and forth, and it seems like we're going to be getting more of the same so far in this series. You know, Violet and Aladoric can absolutely make plays and find kills, but they are just as susceptible to getting 2v2 killed right back sometimes.
Yeah, and didn't cost, I mean, didn't have really summoners to burn, so it didn't cost Cena any, of course. So getting a kill back is going to stabilize the gold difference, actually. Peace only up about 200 gold. Definitely the farm difference starting to grow a little bit there in bottom side as well. Not sure what happened. I guess Aldoric's roam probably made the reset timing a bit wonky there for Violet.
That was also into a wave. C9 were pushing a little bit right there, and so Violet dying as the wave was coming in is what's mostly resulting in that, you know, slightly more than one wave CS gap.
All right, top side I haven't seen too much, but Tachi and Fudge is probably something we'll be looking at throughout the series. Definitely not in this game, though. Much more of an agreement to kind of farm it out a little. Yes, Wukong is counter picking here, but Wukong, as we've discussed, is not really a champion that, at least in the early levels, really tries to smash you. With jungle help, especially once he has 6, it's different. But Babip, once again, flashing on top of Vulcan, gets the knock up there, and that's it. Tally is going to pick up a sitter.
Man, I love it. Babip calls the flash before it even comes through. He flashes predictively, knowing that Vulcan's going to go in that direction. I mean, he was cut off no matter what. There was no direction he could flash, and the play's not over now.
Yeah, 3v1 here now for Sven. No flash, does have exhaust, but he's going to have to try and get it out now. 4v1, pretty impossible, and indeed it will be Violet who's going to grab that kill.
Nice use of transitioning the kill from mid lane. Vulcan's death means there's no way for anyone to be bot lane. Plus, they had control of the bot side jungle, so they just naturally roam down there on the wave.
Ooh, Fudge getting aggressive, forcing a flash out of Chachi. Nice little move in the 1v1, and Blabber actually trying to complete it all up here in top lane. Needs to line up the Q, sees him there in the fog of war, gonna walk up, get the Q, force the hop, and now they can be patient. Wave's not in the best spot, but now it's a 4v1 on the cross map here out of Cloud9, and Perks is gonna make that look easy, grabs the kill for himself.
So this is one of the saving graces for Cloud9's composition. They do have an extra point of pressure on the map, and that is in the top lane with Fudge's Wukong. The fact that they kill Chachi and, you know, Fudge forced the flash earlier means that with Fudge's flash ultimate coming available, this is a very susceptible gank to pull off, susceptible to a repeat gank, I should say. You know, the only problem is, like, can you afford to bring Blabber up there for extended periods of time while bot lane is in such a difficult position already? You have to be very careful with your timing windows, because otherwise, as you can see here, Tally knows there was no pressure on the bot side. He can camp this jungle.
Yeah, if Nami walks through the shrubbery, he's indeed going to get ganked by Rise. Also, of course, that top lane pressure does lead to an easy dragon pick up there for Peace, so nab the first dragon for themselves pretty early as well. So definitely starting off a potential quick soul there if they can grab the rest of them, of course. And Sven isolated for a little bit, but Nami going to be back down here. Definitely expecting, you know, to be more anchored to this lane, and that, you know, one wave CS differential we mentioned at some point has now been erased by Violet as they're trading back and forth. So it is tough, right? Because when the style of Vulcan has so much been about leaving lane, putting yourself in a position where you are locked into the 2v2, ideally, as the Nami, is definitely a departure from how Cloud9 have played before.
I mean, they're still playing it stylistically like this is any other roaming champion. We saw him try and go mid where he got picked off. He had followed them up top for that dive onto Vizichachi. So, you know, he is still moving around the map. It's just understandable too, especially given the fact that they're not dominating bot lane. I think it would feel worse if you had this like 2v2 power lane,
right,
and then you're just sacking your priority to go do that instead of like punishing turret plays or something. But given that the lane's going badly already, and they're not really controlling it, I can understand being like, all right, let me get out of the lane and actually try and affect the map a little bit more.
And you know Aladoric's going to get out there, so Vulcan does maybe feel some pressure to move out as well. Makes sense. Maybe if they didn't get first blooded, it'd be a different story, but that was what happened. Violet and Aladoric continuing to look good, as Blabber is going to go ahead and donate this blue buff over to Perks. Level 6 already for Blabber, actually has been farming very nicely. And there's an exhaust, but the bubble's going to miss, but Sven still firing back. He'll be burnt out by Violet as a result. But Vulcan looking a little vulnerable perhaps, and Babip is going to make sure that if C9 want to extend again, this could be a kill for them.
Yeah, and we see the rest of Peace roaming down. C9's bot lane already chunked out. Here they go.
Run Mop in, and unfortunately that made his telegraph a great bubble there out of Vulcan, and does stop Tally in his tracks.
Yeah, but nice trade overall for Peace's bot lane. They trade the exhaust on Sven for the heal on Violet, and some nice footwork by Violet to avoid the bubble that was coming in while slowed by the exhaust. So well done. They hit their 6s now before C9's bot lane. I expect to see a flash engage by the Rakan if they ever show their face in lane, and maybe they can 100-0 them.
Well, looks like Wave's pushing towards Chachi, so he should be fine here. Just going to have to kind of bear the brunt of this harass out of Fudge. Blabber's doing the Rift Herald as well, so Chachi will absolutely know not to play too silly as soon as he gets the message that it's gone down, which he will now. But I guess at the end of that play, kind of trading the first dragon for the Rift Herald, just a little bit more delayed. Good stun there out of Perks, but no follow-up there onto Tally.
Yep, Perks shadowing topside to support Blabber in case he needs to move into the river. Not the case. Just going to collect that. Question for me now is, where does Blabber want to use this Rift Herald? Do you try and snowball Fudge and put more eggs in the top carry Wukong basket? Do you use it to try and get some gold into Sven's pocket to try and stabilize, or maybe Perks as well as kind of the lone AP threat? You know, he has a lot of choices, and I am very curious where he chooses to go with it. I have a slight preference towards probably top or mid. Bot lane at this point, I'm like, all right, you picked the Lucian to win early. You didn't win early. Good luck.
Well, I think that fits both the context of this game and the general C9 game plan. So I think you're probably right on the solo laners there. The culling, though, is just going to be flown out there by Sven for the harass, but it kind of loses the trade at the end of it all. And but it doesn't have bullet time, so can't fire back, which is probably why Sven ripped it off. But, you know, just 80s trading ultis, yeah, just like mid lane.
With the
Nami sometimes.
With the Nami, you know, you're okay losing trades a little bit. I will say, Peace is playing these trades pretty well and making sure that they actually need multiple Ws by the Nami to actually top Sven back off. But you know, that is kind of how you play the Lucian Nami lane. You're down to take slightly losing trades to get pressure. And here we go. Everyone collapsing mid to get that curl off.
Stun. Tally gonna have to flash. Ulti comes in out of Perks, but not enough damage there. Rise relatively robust there, but not going to be able to survive this incoming Herald. That's a good amount of plate gold share between 4 of C9. Unfortunately, not enough to convert for the tower, but I would say still a successful Herald there for Blabber. Yeah,
nice usage of it. Like you said, you do want to drop that turret to get a little bit more priority against the Rise. If you can break his turret early on, and if Perks is strong enough and feels safe enough to walk forward and get the extra push of distance that you can get with the turret down, that does make it much harder for the Rise to get unlocked and start going top to Chachi or bot to the Rakan to try and set up more kills. So nice that they're able to get the chip turret down, and hopefully they finish it off soon.
Looks like Fudge trading back in with Chachi now. Was backed off a little, but I think maybe now feels like Chachi is likely not in the area, and actually Blabber's in the area, so it makes it a lot easier to play aggressive. Ooh, sneaking into the brush here. Blabber's going to go over a wall, but it's not going to matter. Kick into Wukong ulti, and Chachi's got the flash for that. Doesn't matter, doesn't use it, and Blabber gets the kill.
I was just about to say the timing window, they missed when the flash was down, but when your execution's that clean, it doesn't even matter. Chachi respects it, goes, okay, that was good. I'll just take that death and hold my flash.
Well, alley-oop there into the waiting arms of Fudge, as Blabber is the one to collect the gold and the gold drinker. Nice and early here out of Blabber. Babip, though, once again, it feels like a repeat of the first dragon. See pressure top, will go dragon.
Yep. Cloud9 are moving down this time, though. They have a little bit faster rotation. They are trying to work their way into the river. As a 3-man, they might try and contest this, but just a little too slow.
Yeah, had the Nami wave. Maybe Perks are getting in there as well. Had tools, but not the time to get in and try and make something happen. We've been blessed with Cloud Soul for our first game. Cloud9 fans should be happy. It's their mascot.
Is that official?
I'm not going to get too in the weeds, but I did once try and correlate Cloud9 wins to Cloud Souls because I felt like they got an unusually large amount of Cloud Souls in their games, and I believe that is true. Well, but I don't have the numbers.
This summer and anything else, yes, we just had an insane amount of Cloud Souls in general. I remember I was tweeting about that. It was on Reddit for a little bit. But yeah, I think the Cloud Dragon doesn't feel too bad to be stacking up against. You know, it is strong in this team comp, I think, to have what will probably be a little bit more macro focus of a game plan with these pickoffs with the Rise and stuff that we're talking about. The fact that Tally is doing quite well means that he can become enough of a threat to go 1-3-1. You know, you'll probably be facing up against the Wukong, and I think a lot of that will be about who gets further ahead, because at the same time, Fudge is also doing quite well, and who ends up winning that 1v1. I'd have to see it play out. At that point, it would really depend on items, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, Sunder finished a Fudge, but Tally likely not too far away. Stun is nice there for Perks. Tally is going to get hit up there, and Blabber now doing more than enough damage as Perks gets the final Dark Sphere to grab the kill.
As much as that cannon creep tried to save Tally's life by blocking the Q by Blabber, not enough. And just too much damage right now. Finish him off. And there they go, breaking that mid turret, like I said, a very high priority objective for Cloud9 against the comp that Peace has.
Yeah, really nice actually, and it is nice to see Cloud9, you know, playing through this Syndra a little bit more. Syndra doesn't need the help, but often is very good if you get it. That is beautiful out of Aladoric, though, as Violet is going to take out Sven.
Too easy there. Aladoric comes flying in from, I don't know, 6,000 units away, locks him up, and then Violet's QR combo is all it really takes to finish him off.
Nice and easy there, Sven. I would say hold on to both his summoners, but I think the reality is he just didn't get a chance to use either of them.
Nope.
So, has him at least for the next time, but doesn't live through that one. Gale Force now finished for the misfortune there as well, so you can expect similar looks to that one out of MF and Rakan. Violet has not shied away from being aggressive. In fact, again, that is kind of the calling card of Peace from their best of 5 yesterday.
Yeah, and with MF and Gale Force, you can do some nice auto Q Gale Force little combos to chunk people down quite heavily. I was watching Doggo do that a bunch of times yesterday in their series. Unfortunately, knocked out here earlier on in the day. But Violet will try and pull off the same sick MF combo.
All right, Fudge misses the initial spin. Spins on the rest of the wave, and I think any potential play that was brewing in the top lane has dissipated as Vulcan and Blabber are once again on the top half of the map. That leaves Sven here alongside Perks, though, but he's all the way back to the blue buff, which is quite a bit safer, but this is going to mean that Peace do get this tower that they've been looking for. It really is kind of mid lane versus bottom lane right now. Peace have put a lot of attention down here since getting that first blood, which makes sense. But Cloud9 looking to collapse here. This blue buff steal might be a little bit greedy, but Peace should be able to get it. Can they get away with it is the big question. There's Bibit with a smite, but Blabber lining up that Q does find it, but no follow-up there.
A little dicey. Peace had waited a moment on trying to find a pick-off instead of just going straight for the buff steal. You know, that was a nice call-out by Babbage to try and land the W onto Blabber, or excuse me, Sven, and maybe get a free kill off that, but that did delay it and made C9 have a little bit enough time to come down and contest, but they sneak out with the blue buff just fine, finish off the bot lane turret. They reset on the map now. Next dragon in a minute about, and so you can expect them to start focusing on getting this vision control down on the bot side. Right now it is heavily dominated by Cloud9. They're going to want to get a lot of that. And maybe Cloud9 fight this, or they might continue to try and go top and finish off that next outer turret.
Yeah.
Or they're just going Rift Herald right now.
Ooh, Chachi actually starting it up. So I like this. Trying to take this Herald maybe before everyone's set up for it. I mean, they've still got time to go back to the Dragon if they don't lose too much time here, but Blabber might be looking for a steal. TP it for Cloud9 means they're committing for a fight. That's Fudge on a nice flank ward. Stun lands in onto Bibip. That looks like a kill on my screen, but can they finish it up? Bibip pops the ulti. Q's gonna miss. He dodges everything. Bibip somehow maybe gonna get his way out of there as Aladoric tries to come back through. Tidal Wave there's gonna cancel the MF ulti, but they've gotten away with it. Blabber can't find anything.
Yeah, it's a robbery by Peace there. I think C9 was probably having a similar read to me. It's like, okay, we're going Dragon, and Peace find a window to start that off. They start getting a lot of the damage down onto it. C9 react. I mean, they did have Fudge in the bot lane. I think potentially to be prepared for that TP play, but the rest of the Cloud9 was just not in position quite yet.
And Tally's out of there. Just going straight back to the bottom wave. I think they've accepted at this point that they cannot get back to the Dragon, although Cloud9 gonna start it up soon. Yeah, Peace just giving it up. You can see plenty of players topside not interested in getting extra greedy for this objective after they got the other one, but nice for them to get away with that one, let's call it.
Yeah, that could have gone a lot worse. Yeah. They get out, they get the Rift Herald charge, dropping it in top lane, try and get some of this gold in their pocket. I would say that they have a little bit better scaling in air quotes, tentatively, as we see Perks trying to get a little bit of chunk here. You know, they have the potential 1-3-1 setup if they get really far ahead, or a 4-1 where you just split the rise. Babbitt, whoa, buddy.
Goodness, that damage is big. One last Dark Spear is enough. Perks lines it up and knocks down Bibib.
Wow, I thought in the 1v3 I was safe to be making a larger point, but Perks shows that Babbitt has to be careful. They also knew his ult was on cooldown from the top lane situation of getting out of the Rift Herald, so Perks could use his full combo, finish him off.
Good TP, ooh, counter TP there from Cloud9. Sven down here as well, Tally the target. Blabber getting in there, gets rooted up by Tally though, but Chachi is going to get kicked away, and now Sven grabs that kill, looking for the second is Fudge, trying to spin it onto Chachi. He spins back in, but he goes Mega just in time. Violet swoops in to take down Fudge, and Sven is awfully low, and Violet flash Q's in there to grab that kill. Dodges the title, can't dodge the bubble, though, gets stunned and shut down by Perks, as C9 find an extra.
Both teams trading emotes and kills in the bot lane there. Started out looking really good for Cloud9, but Chachi with some nice footwork actually able to stay alive, and just long enough for the rest of Peace to collapse. I think that still ends up being a 2-for-2 total, keeping the kills tied at 7-7.
And the gold is pretty similar as well. Cloud9 have held on to this small lead, but the gold has not ballooned in much of a way, really. I think at one point Cloud9 were up 1,000+ gold, but there's been so much back and forth that lead has changed hands over the course of this almost 20 minutes. Perks definitely the big winner as far as total gold goes. As you can see, at full 1-on-1, including basically a solo kill. That makes sense, but let's watch this bottom side play because Blabber and Fudge reunited once again.
Yeah, starts out clean enough. Tally kites out decently well using the minions to block some of this. Takes a little bit longer to finish him off. Blabber just kicks Chachi away, and then Fudge here trying to get on top of him. It's funny, the clone knockup still lands on Chachi, but he's charged up enough of his Mega to be able to survive, get that extra HP. Ults just the clone. Then Violet gets a little overeager, gets the kill back, starts flashing the emote, but Vulcan's not going to let him get away with that one. Flash bubble to finish him off.
Yeah, a lot of cooldowns there. Nice aim there for Vulcan though. Not always an army play you see, but it's a fun one to watch when it happens. Mid lane though, currently under fire here by Peace. If Perks is the big winner of this early game, it's definitely Violet being the jackpot holder here. As Tidal Wave's not going to connect now. Babbitt goes back in. Violet just shreds the Nami to pieces.
I mean, Violet's having a great game right now. People are just feeling like they're losing track of him. It shows up there on this red buff invade. I don't know how many people Cloud9 thought were in there, but they didn't have any wards in the river, so they probably just thought they were dealing with a 1 or 2 man invade, but off their mid priority, Peace had rotated Violet in there. With the ultimate down, it's very easy to get on top of the Nami.
Yeah, with, you know, Gale Force, with Strut, with Cloud Rift, Violet's just zooming between all these lanes with 2 items already finished, so Perks definitely under fire here. Gonna have to be careful. Is trying to check this Fog of War, but Peace are gonna be sneaky about it. Blabber's gonna find one. Oh, misses that slow. Aladaric though gonna bounce back as the rest of C9 are coming in hot, but Tally able to finish off that tower and walk away with it.
Little dicey there for a moment. Wasn't sure if Peace are going to go on that play or not. Shows some restraint for what feels like the first time this game from either team, to be clear. And they just grab that turret and back out. But, I mean, good call. They're now 1,000 gold in the lead. You talked about how it was slightly in C9's favor just a couple minutes ago, but off the bot lane play, that invade, the Rift Herald usage, now with their own gold lead.
All right, even the top lane pressure that Cloud9 did have is kind of alleviated. Definitely feels like Fudge and Chachi will be more about the impact they can have with their ultimates in team fights, rather than straight up outplaying the other person in some sort of 1v1 split push situation.
And right now, there's 2 clear threats for each team. For Perks, he's 4-1-1. The Syndra has the ability to one-shot basically anybody on the enemy team, as long as he gets a little bit of help for setup. For Violet, obviously absolutely monstrous at 6-2-0. If he can land a nice ultimate, or even like we just said, with some of these auto attack combinations, being able to assassinate, once again, a lot of squishy targets on Cloud9's side. I mean, both teams have a lot of engaged tools. They both have one huge threat, and I think a lot of this will come down to the 5v5s and who can pull this off, because neither of the 1-3-1s on Peace's side have really turned online and can get much done. So you're looking at like protect the MF kind of situation here, and buying space for her to land big ultimates.
And I love that conveniently, both of those players also are the only ones with stopwatches, which makes sense. They're like the pieces you
they
need
got
to protect.
The excess money.
Yeah, I mean, that's true too. They do, got the influx of cash coming in. So can afford the luxury here, which they'll need for this upcoming Dragon fight in 15 seconds. Peace still looking for that quick soul point, even though Cloud9 did put a bump in that road. But fight's lining up, Fudge going in, but Bib's the target. Kicks him out with the ulti, has to flash a tidal wave, and still we go in. Blabber found that Q to connect, is chasing in on it. As the rest of the team goes through, Fudge finds the second spin of the ulti, and Sven is going to pop the culling, and Violet just can't get in right yet. So 1 kill for Cloud9 as Sven gets massively chunked by Tally.
Yeah, Chachi's trying to pull his Meganar here. Doesn't have enough to force right now. There they go.
Very nice. Meganar, not enough. There's the ulti out of Violet, but it can't quite connect as Perks unstoppable. Blabber still going. Every Q is going in, and finally, just barely doesn't get punished for that one.
Bit dicey there, but with the Nami heals and the shield from his safeguard, able to stay alive. Cloud9 find 2 kills, and will be able to grab the dragon on the tail end of that fight. Peace just not quite set up for that dragon. I think Cloud9 were intelligent about just forcing the fight, while Tally and Vizichachi were split away from the 3-man. So good job by Cloud9 there, pouncing on their opportunity.
Yep, recognizing the angle, goes straight for it. Blabber just charges in like a screen and a half away from his team, and thankfully they're able to follow it up, as Perks is investing in his future. That 9-stack Dark Seal has turned into a 9-stack Magi.
Oh, we've had some not great Magi's usage by Perks, having a very empty book at times. And Perks as a whole has had a bit of an up and down playing so far. The Zoe game left a lot to be desired for a lot of people. And looking like game 1 here is a nice bounce back, but I think understandably a lot of people have been watching Perks with a more critical eye than most players, not just in this tournament, but all year long, with the hype that came with him coming to North America. There was a lot of expectations put on him. Maybe an unfair amount at points in time. The when are we going to hold Perks accountable Reddit thread that showed up towards the end of the regular season, I think it was. So I do understand why there is this extra scrutiny on him, but he is performing very well this game. Here's what I was talking about. You see there's a 3-man split here where the rest of Peace is not yet grouped up together. And so Cloud9 just goes, okay, we're going to jump on them immediately before any TPs can come through. We'll finish somebody off. And with Babip down, that's kind of your key frontline member if Chachi's not there with his Meganar form. And so from here, there's not really much of a way for them to answer back. Chachi is trying to get them here, but just gets picked off.
Nice and cinematic here for the X replay as Violet's ulti doesn't quite connect. Blabber once again goes back in. I thought this one was just give him one back, but doesn't give his life over despite getting, you know, hit by every carry. Nice stuff for Perks. Ooh. Into the tidal wave. Blabber again is tagged up a bit. Here's the TP through. Blabber going to go for it. Gets charmed up though, and that is not enough somehow. The Gore Drinker keeping him alive along top of the shields as Sven is able to take down Tally. Backside Chachi with a 3-man ulti is nice, but Chachi too low as the shutdown comes in for Fudge. Violet will slay Blabber in the meantime, but Babip now a little too low. Visit Chachi also somehow weaseled his way out of that play, but Fudge is diving every tower. Babip making it look real nice, but Perks with the clean stopwatch as Fudge will collect the double at the end of it for the ace.
5 for 1 ace, excuse me. Blabber the only one to drop, but I don't think they need him to turn onto the Baron. Cloud9 punish that slight overextension by Peace yet again. Looking like they're getting pretty safe in this game now with the Baron buff in their pocket most likely.
And Perks definitely, you know, protecting the stacks. Does have 11 now, so we'll at least have an extra if he does die. TP coming in. Perhaps ambitious out of Tally, but Rise isn't bad. Everyone's pretty low. There's the flash kill for the first one. And now the Everfrost is down. He's gotten 2. Tally is going to go down. Fudge will get the final nail in the coffin, smacking him in the back of the head with a stop. But hey, that stopped the Baron.
Stopped the Baron and 2 for 1. So a trade up as well as saving the game potentially for Peace here. I feel like if that dropped, it would have been a bit of a death knell for them. So much standing gold still on the map. Only 1 turret down in C9's favor versus the 4 for Peace, who are still behind in gold. So a lot of gold will be flying in their pockets if Cloud9 grab that one. Here you see it's just a attempt at a pickoff, and then they're in full retreat mode. But there's a deep ward that's perfect for Fudge to find the angle onto Violet. We were talking about how important Violet is, keeping him alive, protecting him. But Cloud9 are the ones who are able to land on top of him and get that assassination. So Violet could never really get a safe ultimate off. And without Violet able to DPS in this fight, it was just not close at all. For the most part, they just chased down from here. I like this turn by Babip. Almost finished Perks off. But like you called out earlier, forwarding the stopwatch and then Fudge. Good target selection, realizing that, hey, I can just flat fall up here. Hold on, not done yet.
Oh, Fudge going in to visit Chachi. Meganar is not going to be enough to survive this. Does get stunned by the Syndra Scat of the Week at the end of it all. And Fudge now dominating. Picks up kill number 6.
I don't know what Chachi was doing there. The rest of his team was resetting on the map. He was pushed up somewhere in mid lane. Coming out of the replay in a bit of an awful position now. And next Dragon in a minute. I don't know if C9 want to force onto the Baron again and just keep trying to find these pickoffs because they do have a very good pick team.
Sven, ooh, getting in there. Nice and aggressive. Tally, though, firing back. Everfrost out's going to force the flash. Tally, now they're going to take down Vulcan. This Rise is possessed. Violet takes down Sven. Realmwalk going to try and pick off Vulcan, but Vulcan now running towards the safety of the Cloud Rift. Does speed away to the bottom side of the map.
Okay, who's paying who there? Sven getting really over-aggressive, just trying to find people in that little corridor, not knowing that the rest of Peace was on their way. Did lose his flash, died, got Sven or Vulcan to lose his flash as well, and so that's going to make it a lot harder for them to team fight from here. A lot of flashes down from both teams with this Cloud Dragon coming up. C9 sacking that to go get some Baron pressure.
Yeah, Sven will be back up in time for the Dragon. Potentially, it's going to spawn about when he's up, so you know he's still going to have to walk over. So it will be a temporary 5v4 for Peace, and looks like Cloud9, as you said, aren't even going to go for it. Just going to go ahead and give Soul Point away. It's not the Soul itself, so perhaps not something you need to fight for. And at least choosing to set up early for the next objective, which is going to be that Baron, like you said.
And Tally, just a really nice punish there. I mean, we were talking about this Rise kind of being out of the game. You know, he doesn't look like that much of a threat, but he's still showing in team fight situations he's quite competent. The TP into the Baron to save that one, and then there, the punish onto Sven, set up by him in particular. So Tally becoming a bit of a force himself this game, emerging as the second threat, where Fudge, with that flank, has absolutely rocketed up the scoreboard. 6-1-4 now, 2 items complete. Both teams trying to get their second threat online, it feels like. Who's going to help the main carry of Violet and Perks?
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, Tally has risen up to the occasion alongside Violet. Violet does now have IE alongside some components of item number 4. So it was definitely feeling good there. But Sven trailing behind still. I mean, it makes sense given how the matchups kind of happened throughout this game. But, you know, it's Perkz and Fudge the one's going to have to do the heavy lifting here in the later half of this mid-game. As we line up for, you know, almost 30 minutes through. Definitely looking at the first Baron now as being a very important objective, especially between dragon spawns. So we've got 4 minutes, definitely more than enough time to go ahead and try and take this objective.
Yeah, it was cool seeing those gold numbers there. Violet and Perkz, both extremely close. They're north of 12K, I think both closing in on 13. And then the second threats as well around 11K. So you can see how the gold allocation is actually making this a pretty close game with multiple people having carry threat. And like you're saying, I feel like it's just going to come down to a team fight. There's needs to be better setup on Peace's side. That last Dragon attempt, that was like kind of the last really set team fight that we really had, was one where they just need to get Chachi and Tally together. I think you want to fight front to back for the most part. If Chachi can build a fat Mega Gnarl, that's great, but...
Ooh. Sven, the one to face check there. Blabber going to try and punish it, but there's the charm in onto Blabber. Goes into stasis, but I don't know if he can really get away. It does have teammates, flashes off, safeguards away, and now the stun onto Blabber bad as Sven. He goes back in for the calling Perkz. Sets it up for Sven there, and he's able to knock it down after a very loose-looking engage. As Perkz is still looking for stuns, but not going to land them. But Sven is he's playing with fire today, let's put it that way.
Both 80 carries are playing engagers in that fight, just auto-attacking each other down, and the rest of their team's like, okay, I guess we're fighting now. Unfortunately, for Peace, they could not find the cleanup kill, whereas C9 barely able to get it. Blabber almost got himself killed as well, but was able to flash safeguard out of there, whereas BABIP on Xin Zhao does not quite have as many defensive tools and gets caught out.
Chachi again gets stunned, bubble. Perkz does have ulti, but it's going to be a lot to get through. Actually lets it rip it. Mega Gnarl quite a bit tankier than Mini Gnar, so Chachi will live through the combo. Yeah,
Chachi again. I think there's been a number of times in this tournament you can tell that he is a substitute.
Yep.
And is on different pages. Here we see that fight again. You see the both 80 carries, face checking, trading autos, getting down pretty low. Both junglers try and finish the kills off. From here, BABIP probably, you know, he just keeps walking forward where the rest of the team is oh, it's just the stun actually that sets him up. Can't blame him. Syndra over the wall. Everyone's been there before. Just no way out. And maybe Violet could have worked in an auto attack, cancel his ult early, but he was so low he was scared to walk up to Blabber and have Blabber just suicide kill himself to finish off the Violet, so backed off there.
Well, the Winions putting in some work there on top side. Perkz and Chachi once again, but there is Nami behind this play as well. Perkz is level 17, by the way. That is currently the highest in the game, 5-1-4, with 700 extra gold, and most importantly, still keeping hold of that book.
True.
15 pages now.
Doing a lot better with it this time, more responsible with his library card. And like you said with the levels, Tally does match him at 17 now, both top laners at 16. The big one is Violet, can he get 16? Adds a lot. As an 80 carry, a lot of times for 80 carries, level 16 is like, well, whatever, I'm an auto attacker, but does matter a lot for the MF here. So gonna hope they can get that one onto him before the dragon spawns. I don't know how far away he is. He is insanely fed, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was close.
See, this wave not gonna be enough. It does quickly dispatch of that. 40 seconds is set up for what could be the Dragon Soul here for Peace. It's been a very back and forth affair. Cloud9's still ahead in gold, but really not by much. It, you know, 32.5 minutes through, 2,500 gold up or so is not a big lead. Definitely has been way more about, you know, positioning and execution and who is more far forward in some cases. Everyone is very willing to engage. Even Blabber has almost felt like the primary engage for a C9. Not in the sense that he's forcing the big engagement, but he is supposed to go in a lot of cases. By the way, this is one of those examples. Into the tidal wave we go. Sven has to get in the arena to have to fight here, and now Fudge is going to flash through BABIP. Protected in the little circle of his ulti, but Aladoric not so lucky. And Fudge now going to spin through and try and finish off the rest of Pete. Chachi does transform, but Blabber tags him, and he's going to get backed up by Fudge as Sven takes out Tally, and it's only Violet left alive.
Cloud9 pulled the trigger on that fight. Blabber flying in there and just kicks BABIP in, and then BABIP's stuck a little unsure what to do. He drops his ultimate, and then does he try and run out? Does he try and force the fight? Decides to go in. Aladoric is on the same page, but unfortunately whiffs his engage, and from there, it's just a disaster of a team fight.
Now Cloud9 are going for the inhibitor. That is positioning to end the game. Aladoric up in 3 seconds, but they're not going to go for it here. Cloud9 are going to look for it. Flash force there out of Perkz, and they're just going to get all the towers. The Nexus now exposed. It's the bot lane versus the world here. Cloud9 don't need the Dragon Soul, don't need the Baron, just end the game.
Yeah, clean fight by Cloud9 in the middle of the map after getting so much work done on the turrets. It's an easy push afterwards. Dicey early game for Cloud9. Peace were doing incredible, getting a lot of leads. It was back and forth the entire time. But in the tail end, it was a number of team fights in a row that Cloud9 were kind of getting the better of in set team fight situations. And from there, they're able to grab the first game of the series.
Yeah, not the cleanest, but not too bad. As Cloud9 definitely feel happy with their mid-game execution. Again, I said it, like, it felt like Blab was the primary engage, which was a bit funny, but he was just consistently starting plays so that Fudge could find the time to get in there and finish them.
And it made sense, too, given that most of the time the Wukong was looking for flanking ultimates and TPs and stuff. You don't have a engaged support in Vulcan where they normally do. So in this case, you know, it was on Blabber to start these fights, and he did a good job kicking them off.